Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Ukraine is in big trouble. And I said this before, I said it from the beginning of the unprovoked attack of the Russian forces on Ukraine, because Ukraine was alone and Russia attacked it anyway. And I don't need necessarily others to confirm what I said is true, or at least my assessment is most likely true. That is, Ukraine is in big trouble. But you can see signs, even now here, as I said it many times before already, these guys, it was like a switch that was turned on, and truth starts to trickle down to us. Why? Because they don't want to be on the losing side. That's why. So I have here an article from USA Today that you would not have seen, let's say, 3 months ago. 3 months ago to what? 1 year and a half ago. Now you see it. And it's not the, oh my God, yes, see, they're saying it. I don't get what USA Today really says, but because you know how they write articles. But they feature someone who says something that I've been saying. And here it is. I think they're true. They're telling the truth here. Why? Because it coincides with my assessment. And I think it's obvious what's going on over there. My point is, if USA Today and then others started telling the other side of the story in Ukraine, that is, Ukraine is not really winning, has been winning for 1 year and a half already, that means these guys are looking for an exit door right now, and they don't know how to use it. The USA Today, featuring this article right here, is not because they are all concerned with Ukraine or with Russia, and they now, this changed yesterday. No, it's because they feature this because they want to be, see, we were balanced. No, you were not balanced. It's like when you lose, you start losing, you switch sides. Romania, sounds familiar? All right, USA Today. Ukraine in deep trouble, quote unquote, some experts, plural, say $1 billion more from US won't matter. Live updates. So this would not have been, this is from September 7, 2023, this would not have been featured in USA Today, mainstream publication, and so on. A new defense minister, an encouraging visit from the US Secretary of State, and another $1 billion in aid have fueled optimism in Ukraine this week. But will they have an impact on the war? Ukraine and US officials says yes. Some experts are not convinced. So they tell us the little victory here, the Blinken victory lap he's doing over there. Blinken did not go to Kiev to tell them, hey, how great you are. No, he went over there to tell them Plan D starts right now. Plan A, B, C are dead, all these three plans. Now we switch to D. And they plan, like he's going to give you money from us without asking us. But anyway, we have here Stephen Myers, a former Air Force veteran, State Department advisory panel member, and Russia expert. Said Biden administration, quote-unquote, party line is that Ukraine is winning and Russia must yield to the West or become a, quote-unquote, vassal of China, end quote. Myers says new Ukraine Defense Minister Rustem Umerov, a Blinken pat on the back, and the latest aid package won't dramatically alter Ukraine's struggle against its far bigger neighbor. And I'm quoting, there is no effective counter strategy available to the Ukrainians, end quote. Myers said, the Ukrainians are in deep trouble, end quote, right here. Myers told USA Today the Ukrainians use pinpricks and news about taking back land to demonstrate progress to the West, but are less transparent about the cost in Ukrainian lives. Well, they told us that Borodnia, whatever village they liberated, I think it's about, 460 people living in that village. That's a neighborhood. All right, but never they say, we're winning, send us more. We're winning, see? We're not losing, because the West was like, oh my God, the counteroffensive is going down. Wow, we should maybe pull the plug. Oh, no. No, we're winning. We're winning. This is a public opinion. We're winning, and the Russians are criminals, and they destroy us, and war crimes. They try to, change that. And the mass media says, nah, nice try, but I think you guys are going down. And I don't know for how long the public support here, not that it matters necessarily, but we're going to have elections in a year, that's why. It says they don't talk about the counter-strikes by the Russians, who don't care about gaining or holding ground in the kill zone, are experts at laying traps, end quote. Very interesting. I made a video yesterday about Russians' traps, and I mentioned the drone trap. You can watch that video. So it says Ukraine and the West badly need an exit strategy, Myers said. And then, again, these are facts. You're going to see right here. Europe is in more economic trouble than we are. Germany is in deep recession, Myers said. The Europeans are not going to shoulder more economic burden. They need an off-ramp. Bye-bye, see you never. Got my parachute and I'm out. And Russia is not doing bad. Russia is having a surplus. Right? Their economy is expanding with 11 rounds of sanctions and oil caps and all that. Anyway, it says here, Sean McFate, a professor at Syracuse University and senior fellow at the nonpartisan, when you hear nonpartisan Atlantic Council think tank, forget about it, aligns with Myers. He supports the change in defense ministers, saying corruption claims forced the issue, but that won't change the course of the war, he said. McFate said the U.S. relied on conventional warfare tactics in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan and lost. Yet the U.S. has not changed tactics in Ukraine, he says. Russia made the same mistakes early in Ukraine with its ill-fated blitz towards Kiev. Well, and then they retreated, according to the Russians, because they were not pushed back, were they? Do you remember of the Russians being pushed back by the Ukrainian military? They stopped over there. So they stopped at the border of Kiev. Let's put this at the walls of Kiev. Enemy at the gate, right? So they went over there. Who was that? Hannibal. The Russians, not Hannibal, but the Russians, the Romans. Enemy at the gate. Hannibal is coming. Anyway, so here was Hannibal at the gates of Kiev. And then it was in Istanbul. What did they agree? They agreed, and then supposedly, I don't know, the Russians claim we retreated as a goodwill because you said you're going to sign this. Boris Johnson showed up in Kiev and everything changed. So the Russians see it as being fooled again. But hey, that's your mistake in this case. You should have known you're dealing with assholes. Why? Look how other people were treated after wars by the good West. All right? Anyway, it was not an ill-fated blitz toward. It was successful. They got to Kiev and waited. Now the Kremlin is relying on more modern tools of war, he said, such as controlling information and mercenary troops. Now, I don't think McFate now shows us his colors. Yeah, that he's controlling information and mercenary troops. That's why the Russians are winning, according to this expert, my friends. A professor, right, from a non-partisan think tank. Is that why you think the Russians are winning? Because of mercenaries and controlling information? Is that what you think it is? All right, man. This tells you how sophisticated this professor is. And I can say it with full heart. Things are going nowhere for Ukraine, end quote. McFate said, wars are no longer won like World War II by taking the enemy's land, killing their troops, and flying your flag on their capital. Oh, so then this right here, you said it's an ill-fated blitz toward Kiev? And why it was an ill-fated? When you say here you don't win it that way anymore. Anyway, so why? They want to do it that way, but then they change their mind? Man, come on. Developments. All right, I'm not going to go over developments. My point here is an order was given, understood, or a nod that the mass media could change its, and allow some information, some truth to trickle down, some assessments. Not the truth, that some more information to trickle to us. Not necessarily that more information, from a different angle, which was blocked until about 3 months ago. And yeah, that's the way it is. And I think it's just an exit ramp. Hey, bye-bye. boom, take your parachute and go. That's what it is with the media. So they don't want to be, which they will be, accused of partisanship, which is, hi, I'm with his side, and you, and they say, no, we covered it, balance. No, you didn't. You didn't. For 1 year and a half, almost, you were just saying the party line, one narrative. Others like me and others will say, no, let me give you the other side. You tell that garbage, I'm going to tell this garbage, because everything is a garbage. But you see only the A garbage, I see the B garbage. And then we make the A and B, and someone says, mentions the C garbage, because this war is a garbage. People die, it's a tragedy. And they tell us, oh, that's beautiful right here, we do it. And I'm coming, yeah. Another one is coming, yeah. All together shows us there are some criminals out there. And again, it's not only B criminal, it's A criminal, C criminal, and so on. But these guys are telling us only, hey, the B is the criminal. Really? Unprovoked? Really? The Russians are losing? Really? The Russians commit war crimes? Really? How about the other ones? Oh, they just attacked civilian targets in, like, remember the Second World War? When Americans dropped those 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? You remember those one? Well, those were over cities. BBC, I have the recording, and you can still find it. They said, well, the Americans announced dropping the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima on the 6th of August 1945 on military installations. That's right, military installation. And they flattened out 100 and some thousand people, civilians. Was there a war crime? What do you think? Let's say Putin does the same thing. We just dropped a few atomic bombs on some military installation in Kiev. That's a war crime. But hey, somehow, again, only the plan E, only the vision A. Not B, not C, not allowed. Anyway, my friends, here it is. Yes, they are in bad shape, and the Russians know it. Not the Russians they're using, as I said, maybe 7% of their potential, military potential, the Russians. That's what I think, an economic potential. Why? They sit on 7,500 nuclear warheads, just an example, and not only. They have so much potential, but anyway, these guys are, no, the Russians are depleted, have no more missiles, have no more, they are, where? They've been saying this since last year, April. The British intelligence came and told us, the Russians are almost done with their missiles, no more, just a little bit. And it was not that fact. So, this is it, my friends. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.